Hi everybody, it's Monday, November 10th, 2008. Thanks for stopping by. I'd like to talk a little bit about Israel again today. Now, I know I've said a lot that Israel was created by ethnic cleansing, and I think it's self-evident if you look at the history of the Zionist movement and the history of Palestine that this was necessary because it was not an empty land. There were people living there. And the Zionist movement had as its goal an exclusive Jewish state. And the reason for this was because they didn't feel they could live with other people without being killed. So they thought to be safe they had to have a land all to their own. And their land was Palestine, or Eretz Israel. And so, it seems self-evident that this was a necessary thing for them, not necessarily a thing that they particularly enjoyed doing, but something that they had to do, and they embraced it. They did what they had to do because they believed wholeheartedly in their ideology. And this is not controversial, I don't think, among historians, and to see how uncontroversial it is, I think you could find, there's a Democracy Now! Clip where Norman Finkelstein, or Finkelstein, however you want to pronounce it, debates Shlomo Ben-Ami. And Shlomo Ben-Ami is a respected historian himself, and a former foreign minister of Israel. And, Finkelstein is pretty radical, and is seen by many people as being very radical at any rate. One of these far-out left-wing types, right? Well, it's very surprising when you see the interview that Finkelstein and Ben-Ami didn't really disagree about anything, not anything of substance. They talked a great deal about it, and they both agreed about all the facts. And many other historians agree about these facts, like Benny Morris, for instance, although he approves of what happened, and he seems to have moved from the left towards the right over the years, but nevertheless, he will tell you the same things, basically, that Finkelstein and Ben-Ami and Ilan Pappé will tell you. He just has a different interpretation of what it means. So, these are pretty uncontroversial things we're talking about. And now, why do I tell you these things? I think this is an important question. And maybe people are getting the wrong idea about what I'm trying to say, because I don't really talk a whole lot about the purpose of knowing the history. To me, for one thing, knowing history is a very important thing. You don't want to go around thinking things happened when they really didn't, or thinking things didn't happen when they really did. You don't want to go through your life with a knowledge of history that is basically a fairy tale or a national myth, which unfortunately a lot of people do. In every country there's national myths, and it's kind of nice to get beyond that and to know the truth. And another reason is to, I guess you could say, de-weaponize history. Not to demonize anyone, not to demonize Israel, or to demonize the Zionist movement, or anybody, but simply to tell the truth about what people did, and to know the truth about what happened and the consequences of what happened. Uh, you know, people constantly demonize Palestinians and Arabs, and to some extent we should criticize everyone. We should criticize Palestinians when they kill innocent people, and we should criticize Israelis when they kill innocent people, and both Palestinians and Israelis kill plenty of innocent people. There is no denying that. We shouldn't sugarcoat it, and we shouldn't make excuses for anybody. But we shouldn't demonize people either and say, because these people are X, they did Y. And there's a lot of people that will, because they either don't want to admit the truth or don't know the truth themselves, they will say that the Arabs hate Israel because they're Arabs. That is their basic argument if you boil it down to the simplest form. The reason why the Arabs are fighting us is because they're Arabs and we're Jews. And this is the kind of thinking that totally enslaves you. Once you go down that path, you're held hostage to your own misconceptions. There's no way to think about making peace with people who hate you because they exist. The only solution for that is to try and find a way that these people won't exist anymore. This is the type of thinking that led to the Holocaust. I mean, you might not believe me, but just read some of Hitler's writing. Read Mein Kampf, and he basically makes that argument is that the Jews are bad because they're Jews, and there's no getting around it. So, this is the thing that I want to do when I talk about history. Talk about the history of Israel is not to encourage people to destroy Israel or to, as some people who argue with me say, delegitimize Israel. Well, you can't really do that. I don't agree with the way that Israel is created. And I don't agree with the way that the United States was created. They were almost the same thing, same kind of process. Colonial entity, European colonial enterprises, both of them. Well, just two examples out of many, like South Africa, for instance. But I think it's also important, it's important to realize that what's done is done, and we can't undo the Nakba, or the dispossession of the Native Americans, by starting a whole nother genocide or by starting another round of ethnic cleansing. I think it's time to stop these sorts of things. So I don't think that anybody should try to destroy Israel or to get revenge for what happened in 1948. They should understand what happened so they can make peace. If you want to understand how to make peace, you have to understand the conflict that you're in. If you don't realize what the conflict that you're fighting is about, then there's no hope of ever having any change. So, that's the point, is that not that we want to start killing people, but we want to start understanding history. We want to understand what happened, the consequences of what has happened, and how to move forward and to make things better, not for the people who were killed, but for the people who are alive today, the Israelis and the Palestinians, who have to live together somehow or another without killing each other. And they can't do that by saying the other side is evil because they're Jews or they're Palestinians. You have to understand why. Why are the Palestinians angry? Why are the Israelis afraid of the Palestinians? What can we do to make things better? Thanks for watching.